I'm gonna be there at the Orange Bowl, Coach. So I'm gonna be checking y'all out. Y'all the stadium about 30 minutes south. I'm gonna come check y'all out with my son.
Come on, man. Awesome. How old is he?
Oh, he's 7. He's 7. So,
Awesome. Can't wait to meet him.
hopefully in 10 years, you know what I mean, you
Yeah.
still doing your thing, and I'm gonna have one ready for you.
Hey, he might have an offer before he leaves the Orange Bowl.
Let's go. First offer. Red Raiders. Let's go.
Light it.
The Triple Option is presented by Wendy's. Join Team Tendies and enjoy a lineup like never before. Crispy, juicy Tendies, now at Wendy's. Holiday edition of the Triple Option presented by Wendy's. Rob Stone, Mark Ingram II, Deuce Deuce, the Hall of Famer Urban Meyer.
Birthday boy, Deuce Deuce.
That's right. It was a little bit back.
Yeah,
about all those great.
About a week ago.
Did you have a good birthday, by the way? Was it nice?
Had a blessed birthday.
It's a tough one during the holidays, but you crushed it.
Oh, no. It's a great one because we just
30
chill.
what? 30 what?
36. The big 36. Hey, and I just had a whole bunch of love. I had my wife. I had my kids. I had my mom. I had my sister. We was eating good. I was getting hugs and kisses. I was
Any
getting
Los Linderos?
Ooh, I had some of that Los Linderos on the rocks.
I actually went looking for Los Linderos yesterday, Coach. At my no, but I put in. I filed a complaint.
Hey, I know a guy. I know a guy.
What does a guy got to do, right?
Hey,
all right. Hey, thanks for joining us on the Triple Option. Rate, subscribe over at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you find your podcasts. We're on social media at 3X Option Show. New episodes on YouTube on Wednesdays, typically, or wherever it is you find your podcast. Leave those questions, leave those comments. We love to respond to them. Let's get right to it, man. Time for Any Given Saturday. And the quarterfinals are here. They are upon us, finally. A little interesting conversation to start things off with. Our friends at 24/7 Sports, they have a team composite for each playoff team based on the number of 5, 4, and 3-star recruits on their team. If you just look at that, Georgia, Bama, Ohio State, Oregon, I think as you would expect would be your top 4 teams. Texas Tech, again, of the 12 teams that started the playoffs, sit there at number 9. Indiana sitting there at number 11. Coach, you know all about building rosters. In the old days, it was finding those 5-star guys and those 4-star guys. Now it's portal dudes who maybe were 3-star guys. The development of your program has certainly tilted a little bit. Do you think it's in a place where it's going to stay this way, or do you still see some more altering going on with roster makeups?
I think it's very fluid, but Mark, it's exactly the opposite of what I thought the whole NIL and transfer portal would have. I thought rich would get richer. That's not the case at all. There's never been more parity in the game. And I was asking people, we're involved in the game. Why? And it's because when I recruited Mark Ingram, it would be number 1, chance to get you in the NFL. Number 2, win a championship. And number 3, an elite education in life after football.
He didn't recruit
Those are the 3
me.
coaching points. What's that?
He didn't recruit me.
Should have recruited
not the
you.
First one I missed on, but now it's not that way at all, Rob. And now it's why would a player pick this school? Because they're going to pay him more. Why would a third-string player leave in Alabama, leave in Ohio State, leave in Florida, and go become a star somewhere else? Because there's opportunity, and you can do it very very fluidly. You can change schools. So I think it's awesome for our sport. Parity is what people want to watch. I just hope the non-conference scheduling, someone fixes that, because these teams got to play each other. But I think it's great, and you're going to continue. I hate to say this because it sounds dirty to say it. The richest programs are going to get richer. If you can find a billionaire, you better go get that billionaire.
Yeah.
And that's what people are doing, which I
Well,
like.
Dillingham literally said that with his extension at Arizona State, right? Like the comment that got all the traction was, find me some rich billionaire in the greater Phoenix area,
I hate that.
And let's tap into that, and let's get Arizona State up to the Texas Techs of the world in the Big 12.
Facts. Yeah, that's what it is now. Like, yeah, you have your blue bloods, but now if you have a passionate fan base, you have a passionate donorship program, you have a chance to reconstruct your roster to be a powerhouse that can contend for a national title. You talked about Texas Tech. You talked about, you know, what Indiana's doing now. You know,
Yeah.
they re-signed Kurt Signetti. He got the resources for his coaching
Twice.
staff.
They've
Yes,
re-signed him twice.
yes. But
Mark.
but what did he want? Most importantly, resources for his coaching staff,
Correct.
and resources
Correct.
to build his roster. So if you get a passionate fan base, you get a supportive donorship program, you have a chance to change the trajectory of your program. And it used to be like a recruit like me. I'm going there. I'm like, how can this university prepare me to be the best football player I could be? How can this university prepare me to be the best human being I could be? What type of connections will I be able to develop through my time here at this university? What kind of facilities do they have? What kind of meal prep do they have? Like, you're looking at all these things, and that will persuade you what university to go to. Now, it's basically about, what is this bottom line going to be? You know what I mean? Am I going to have an opportunity to play? Okay, but what's
Yep.
this bottom line going to be? Because over here, I have opportunity to play, and this bottom line is up here. But right here, I have opportunity to play, but your bottom line is down here. So right now, unless you get your bottom line up, I'm going to go over there.
Also, the conversation back then, I hate saying back then, but that's the reality, was, hey, you're going to be with me,
Yeah.
and I'm going to be with you for 3-4
Invested
years,
in
maybe
you.
5.
Invested
right?
in you.
That was ingrained. That there was no wiggle room on that one unless you just
Wanted to sit out a year.
right? Yeah, you want to go sit out. And now this is so transactional. You know, this is, I think, Coach, you would look at every single player coming in as a one and done, right? You're a one and done, and then I got to re-recruit you. I got to see how it works for you. Did I do you right? Did you do me right? And off we go.
Yeah, think about this too, Rob. Is that back in, and I'm going to go back now. It's going to date myself a little bit. When you recruited the mother, father, the high school coach, and the position coach and the head coach. And that was about it.
Sometimes third uncle.
Now there's third uncles everywhere. Now there's agents. Now there's money management teams. There's all these people telling you can go do this, do this, do this. So it's just, and you got to adapt, and the teams that adapt win. So I don't like when I start hearing the billionaire world that's going to impact. That's not right. At the end of the day, if someone says that's right, no, it's not right. But I'm telling you, for the good of the sport right now, parity has never been better, and that's great for, the sport.
We love the parody, but it's billionaire, or you got teams that are doing private equity deals now. Like,
How about that?
Utah?
They're selling their
Yeah.
they're selling their soul.
yeah, you go get a private equity deal now. You're really just kicking the can down the road and selling your everything to whoever. But that's the business we're in right now, man. And these
It is
teams
what
are-
it is, right?
Yeah.
That's like such a great quote. It just covers a lot of things, but it is what it is. And until that river stops flowing,
I don't think
you
it's
got to
gonna
jump
stop
on that
there.
raft and go with it,
Yeah.
right? Mark, you brought up Indiana. I just want to finish with the Hoosiers real quick. This is stats, the makeup of the Hoosiers right now. Percent of starts from recruits, okay, 34.6. Percent of starts from transfers, 65.4. All right.
Wow.
So obviously, listen, we know Coach Signetti had to come in and transform things in Bloomington. So it's back-to-back years where it's heavy transfer, right? I wouldn't be surprised if I see that number next year get closer to
Change.
50-50.
Yep.
And it
then
wouldn't surprise me at all 2 years down. It's going to be that 65% is recruits
Yes.
and that 35 is transfers. But again, that's where Indiana is, what they had to do to make this mark. And then Signetti has an eye. Like, he knows who his guys are. I just think this whole model is going to softly change a little bit, but the portal is still going to be an absolutely necessary and vital factor.
You have to get the right players in your program at the transfer portal. That's
First
what
and
Kurt
foremost.
Signetti. That's what
Yeah.
Kurt Signetti has done a great job of. He's gotten the right players with the right talent and the right character traits to go ahead and impact his program with the current players that he's recruiting. Everyone says, "Oh, Indiana doesn't have the talent." The talent is on the way, and that's when you will start to see those numbers flip in 2 or 3 years from being 65% transfer to 65-70% recruit and 30% transfer. It's on the way. Indiana is going to be something to be reckoned with for the next however long Kurt Signetti stays there.
I just want to add this about because sometimes you get carried away with. I know our friend at Texas Tech,
Joey McGuire.
Joey McGuire, is that, and he made the point. Okay, people are buying players. Okay, that's great, but you have to coach them, and that's where Signetti That's where you can really, I mean, and this is where sometimes you have a 2 to 3 year window to develop people. These coaches got to put acceleration on that. When some of these cats are walking your door in June, Mark.
Yeah.
The transfer portal. You got a 2-month window now to get that cat ready to play.
Yeah.
And I've talked to colleagues about the urgency. And here's the difference too, Mark. You can coach these kids all summer. Do you know that?
Yeah.
Back in the day, Mark, we weren't allowed to even talk to you.
Yeah. Coaches couldn't even be on the field. It was players running the 7-on-7s and the workouts and stuff like that, or a strength coach.
And you guys have all seen how money can change a human, much less a player, right? So you're throwing money at these kids. You got to make sure
18-year-old, Sean.
They can handle that money.
Yeah. An
18-year-old. That is
17.
big time money. That was your fresh take of the week, presented by Wendy's. Join Team Tendies and enjoy a lineup like never before. Crispy, juicy Tendies now at Wendy's. Coach, you hit on them. Coming up next, we're joined by a triple option frequent flyer, the head coach at Texas Tech, our good friend, Joey McGuire.
Light it.
College football not feeling as juicy as it once did? Let me put you on to something that'll shake up your Saturday and every other day of the week, because now that Wendy's has crispy chicken tendies and a powerhouse lineup of new sauces, it's time you transferred to the hottest team in the league.
That's right, Rob. Team Tendies, Wendy's Tendies. They're making their undeniable rookie season one for the books. Enjoy first-string flavor from some 5-star recruits. Rep your new favorite team everywhere you go, but make sure to cheer with your mouth closed.
Take it to the end zone of savory sauces like honey barbecue, creamy ranch, and the new Wendy's signature sauce to experience a total taste bud blitz of flavor. It's time to join a team that won't upset you with an upset. Taste the phenom that's gracing the gridiron with its juicy, crispy, and tendery tendencies. Don't fumble the bag. Commit to a team, Tendies, and call the most delicious plays in the playbook. All right, huddle up. Tendies on 3. Tendies on 3.
1, 2,
2, 3.
3. Tendies. Let's do this. No rehearsal. Wendy's chicken tendies now at participating U.S. Wendy's. Drinking and driving is a decision that will change your whole world. Things will never be the same once you get a DUI, because legal fees and time in court are just the beginning. Getting into a crash is another way your world could be irreversibly changed after drinking and driving.
And your vehicle might not be the only thing that gets damaged in that crash. You could face a life-altering injury or even death. But you're not the only one who could face those consequences. Your decision to drink and drive could permanently change someone else's world. Whether you injure them or leave their loved ones grieving, the next time you're out drinking, call a rideshare, a taxi, a sober friend, or a designated sober driver.
The only decision that will change your world for the better is the decision to call for a sober ride. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA. Welcome back to the Triple Option. Rob Stone, Mark Ingram II, Urban Meyer. We are joined now by one of our favorites, the head coach of the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Get those fingers and those guns up there,
Yeah.
Joey McGuire. Hey, Coach, happy holidays. Thanks again for joining us on the Triple Option.
Man, thanks for having me. I hope y'all have get a chance to be with your families in this time. This bye week has allowed us, we're going to let our kids go home for Christmas, and they're fired up.
Coach, good to see you, my friend. And your
Yes,
ears
sir.
might have been burning from Norman, Oklahoma. I'm sitting there with the legendary Bob Stoops, and we probably talked about you for 15 minutes. And back in the day when we both recruited your high school, and here you are. Let's just a quick review. 2016, you're the high school coach at Cedar Hill, and then you went on to Baylor as an assistant. And then the paycheck changed a little bit, and you went to Texas Tech. So big fan, congrats. You know, you haven't played in 25 days when you play this game, and I've been there. I had my thoughts on how to do it, but this isn't about me. I want to hear your thoughts. And how do you guys are playing at a high level. How do you keep that? I was so paranoid about losing that edge. How have you tried to keep the edge?
Yeah, I am too. You know, at the end of practice yesterday, I told them, I said, guys, y'all got to make me right. Like, you know, we have a bunch of grown men in this building, and we made a big deal about this bye as far as going out and beating BYU and getting the bye because we were banged up. We had a lot of guys playing. I always call it football banged up because you're not gonna be 100% after the first day of camp. From then on, you're gonna, you're something's gonna be a little banged up, and so, that first week we ran and lifted. It was also final week, so that was a little easier to do, and then all last week we put the pads back on. So we went 5 days straight. We gave them Saturday off, and then we were back in pads yesterday, and so we'll be in pads today. Um, we've really tried to, focus and be smart with the practices, but, really be intense and get after each other.
I want to before I hand it off. So when you say pads, I think it's important that you have to keep speed on speed. Were you able to go do some ones-on-ones, because that's another concern. All of a sudden you get in that damn game and you're shocked at the speed, because scout team's not the same as going ones-on-ones, especially at your place.
Yeah, we've so we do it. It's not on the script. So we've been doing sudden change. They don't know when it's coming, but we've been going good on good. We yesterday we were going into a special teams period, and I blew it and just put the ball down and said, good on good, ones on ones. I don't want with that stuff. I kind of don't want them to know it's coming. Just kind of shock to a system of almost like a sudden change in a game, and so we've been doing that.
All right, Coach, man, we appreciate you being here. I'm big on the Red Raiders. I'm a big Texas Tech guy in this playoff. One of the reasons we know your defense has been great, but this offense, man, I say that y'all can give it to them how you want it. You can run the football, you could throw it outside the numbers, you could throw it vertically. What have you seen with the growth of this offense from week one?
The biggest thing is at the running back position.
Yes.
We had we felt great about our room. We had 3 really strong running backs, and then we lose Quentin Joyner right before the season. So we had 2 true sophomores that had to really step up, and man, they have done an absolutely incredible job. They do a
Dickey and
great job.
Williams?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I mean, they run the ball at a high level, but the thing that they're so tough is they catch the ball out of the
Yes.
backfield at such a high level, and they're mismatches for linebackers. And we've had some huge plays on the offensive side of the ball throwing them the football. I think that's the biggest thing that people, miss is you got 2 young running backs that are playing at a really, really high level with Cam Dickey and Jacoby Williams.
Yeah, they're playing. There's some beasts. There's some RBs for sure.
Yes.
Let's talk about the life of Coach McGuire and your players, that I think the listener, I'm pretty positive they don't really understand this, but for almost 40 years, I never really had a Thanksgiving, because it
Yeah.
was when I was at BG, it was Toledo, then Utah, Brigham Young, and then Florida State, and then obviously the rivalry game. So I mean, the last thing you're doing is worrying about where's Thanksgiving. But it was important to me to give the players off a little bit of time, and then Christmas. We usually left Christmas Day or on the 26th as we're playing. How has that changed in your life as a high school coach? You're done usually by this time of year. I don't know in Texas if it's much different. How have you tried to let your players, or at least your staff, or is it there really isn't much Thanksgiving or Christmas? Just got to go.
Yeah, we spent Thanksgiving together. We ate as a team here in the South End Zone. It was awesome, and then we had a bunch of players go over their position coach's house that night. And then, you know, I it was funny. I did not expect this. So I'm walking down the hallway with Big Lee Hunter, our defensive tackle, and I said, "Lee, if we get the bye, I think I have the schedule set to where you can go home for Christmas for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day and be back the next day." And he has a daughter, and he said, "So you're telling me I can spend Christmas with my daughter?" And I said, "Yes, sir. If we win this game." He goes, "Coach, you shouldn't have said that, man. They're in trouble." And I went, "Oh gosh, all right, here we go. That's all I needed," And so before the game, I looked across the field. I said, "Lee, remember those guys are trying to keep you away from your daughter on
Oh.
Christmas."
Ooh.
Oh, that's good coaching.
Yeah, yeah, he played it. He played really well too. So so that's what we're gonna do. Coach, my mom and dad came out because we gave them Saturday off. We had to give them an off day. My mom and dad came out. This is the first time that I've spent Christmas with our family since 2016. You know,
Wow.
and so it is. You know, you find ways to be around your family as much as possible, and make sure that these guys are around their families. But you don't have a lot of Thanksgiving or Christmas days off.
Coach, I'm curious. The stereotype, the national conversation around Texas Tech is, hey man, all that oil and gas money, they bought their way to the college
Yeah.
football playoffs. They bought their way to the Big 12 title game and won it. What is something about this program that the national narrative is missing?
Well, this is one of my favorite things. I thank you so much for this question. So, since I've been here, so Texas Tech's been playing football for 100 years. Since I've been here, we hold every single GPA record
Let's
in the
go.
history of Texas Tech football.
Let's
This
go.
team, with all these guys that we brought in, they just set the all-time GPA record as a team for a fall semester. So we have a 3.23 team GPA. So whenever you're sitting there talking about, well, all these guys came in because of money, all these guys came in because of this, man, we have 33 graduates that will play in this playoff game, and this team set the all-time GPA record. So I mean, that tells you right there what this building's all about, like how they hold each other accountable, how, you know, everything's important, everything that we do it at the highest standard. And so I'm really proud of that, man. And that, I just think that shows that they just didn't come here for one reason and one reason only. They came here to become better football players and better men.
Curious, Coach, about the blend of your program right now. What does it say, high school recruit / transfer portal, the percentage breakdown, and then what ideally do you want it at going forward?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. You know, we signed 21 high school players. It's the highest rated class in the history of Texas Tech. And we got some we've got 18 of the 21 coming in mid-year, so they'll be here January 10th.
Wow.
Mm.
I'm hoping we're playing on January
Yeah.
9th. I don't get to see them until the next day or 2 days later, but you know, they're coming in. You know, with us, we want a good mix because, you know, the backbone of the growth and development, you know, is the guys coming out of high school, but we also, you know, you can supplement at such a high level, you know, positions that maybe you're still trying to grow. And so I think it'll probably be 50-50. You know, most years, you know, I think we'll still have around the 18 to 20 high school players. There's going to be some years that'll be smaller because you're going to have a young team that you're going to have to get some older guys in.
Let me ask you about the bowl experience. You know, I think bowls at some of them are on life support. You know, with teams not going and making decisions not to even play in them. So, will you treat this the first one? I'm trying to remember back. I think we played like it was kind of like a bowl game where you have some bowl experience. But then we played for the title against Oregon. It was a business trip.
Yeah.
There was nothing there. Are you going to try to make this somewhat of a bowl experience or just pure business?
No, I think it'll be a little bit of a bowl experience from the standpoint we're staying at a great place, and so I think they have some stuff set up for us. But you know, it'll be a business trip from the standpoint of, you know, we're not going to leave the grounds of the hotel. As soon as we get off the plane, we get to our rooms, they got to be right back down, and we're going through our first walkthrough.
Right.
So that's a little bit different, you know, before you get there a few days earlier. And, you know, that first day we get there, I've always had my guys to where, you know, they've been able to, you know, go out, and curfew's not till 2:00. We'll have it locked down, you know, just because you're trying to get to that next game. And, you know, we're going to enjoy the trip, but we're going to be really locked into as a business trip.
Coach, I want to talk about your defense, man. I already praised your offense, but the defense, you guys stop the run, guys rush the passer. Romulo Height, David Bailey, they have almost over 22 sacks. You have 4 players that have multiple interceptions. So you guys stop the run, good against the pass, turn the football over. What is the mindset that you guys are preaching to this defense every single day that has them hungry and playing at such a high level?
Yeah, so, you know, we talk about all the time, you stop the run, you've earned the right to rush the passer. You know, we just got through with a staff meeting, and that's the key to this game. Oregon is rushing for
Yeah.
over 200 yards a game. They've got 3 running backs that are absolutely incredible. And, you know, 2 of them are freshmen playing at such a high level.
Yep.
I think that's really important. We have to go out and stop the run. But my guys, I did this in 2019 whenever I was at Baylor. Phil Snow let me take it over. You know, our motto is take 3. I actually have my license plate on one of my car is take 3. The one that you know, I have a dealer's car and then I have my car and it says take 3. So we're trying to create 3 turnovers,
Yes,
and
sir.
I send something out to the players. I have it on my calendar, so I get an alert. I send something out, some video. Like when I'm watching film, I record stuff off of Oregon. So now, once we knew we were playing Oregon, we shifted to I send any turnover they have, any batted ball. And so on my defense, every single defense player gets a text from me every single day
Wow.
about taking 3. And if we take 3 turnovers, we're going to win the game. And that's, you know, that's our key defensively.
Hey, what license plate? What kind of car is that license plate on, Coach?
All right. So, you know, I think anybody's like this, but I think us as men, you know, I think we grow up and we always think, and I use this a lot in recruiting because I always ask the recruits, like, what is the one thing that you're going to buy? Like, what are you going to go out if you want to buy? And I'm really not a car guy, but I've always been in love with Corvettes, you know,
Yes, sir.
and my wife and I have been together we've been married for 31 years, but we've been together for 33 years. And I've talked as long as I can remember to her. I always said, I'm going to own a Corvette before I'm 50. And so when I turned 50, she surprised me. It was in the garage.
Oh,
Let's go.
Yeah. With a 2021
Oh.
Stingray black. We call it the Batmobile Corvette. And so I use that story a lot in recruiting. I mean, you know, I didn't come
You're
from
telling them to get the right wife, the right
Yeah.
significant other.
No doubt. No doubt. You know,
Miss
marry-
McGuire, let's
yeah, marry a
go.
strong woman. So I when we win, we call it Victory Sunday. Of course, I always drive the Corvette on Sundays.
Yeah, that American muscle. Let's go.
Yes, sir.
You know,
The take
every
3.
time we try to cover a team, I try to just walk the sideline and get a feel for the size. And I've been telling people since the day in Salt Lake City when I was down the sideline, and there will not be a better looking team than Texas Tech. You know, we that's one experience we have. We get to see all these teams, and you have to give credit to your strength coach, your
Sure.
nutrition, because that's not normal at Tech. When we did that at Utah,
Yeah.
that's not normal. So tell us a little bit about, you know, how hard it has been, and then, you know, give credit to where it's due to get those cats to look like they do, because that is a great look. That's an SEC looking football team that you have.
Man, I appreciate you saying that and leading to that. You know, like, so Lance Barlow is my head strength coach, and his crew do an absolutely incredible job. And, you know, what I love about them, man, they bring such positive energy. And, you know, he comes out of the LSU tree. He was at LSU whenever they won it in 2019. And so those guys, they have their position groups that they really work with. He works with our O-line. You know, and each group, Aaron Hall's got our linebackers and just different ones. And then, you know, one of the biggest things whenever I came here was really getting Texas Tech to understand, you know, we need a full-time dietitian. And we were able to get a full-time just football only, but then we turned around and we added another one. So they, you know, like the one thing that we've done here, we're operating a really high level when it comes to that. We added a new trainer this year. We have 5 full-time trainers that are just football only, you know, and so that's made such a huge difference when it comes to the weight room, the way these guys eat, the way they take care of their body, and then the way they recover. And this team's really bought into it. But we've got some big people. You know, I always say there's a reason that there's weight classes in boxing. You know, big people beat up little people. I think we saw that on Friday night. Somebody found out that whenever you grab a hold of a real heavyweight champion, and it hurts when you get hit in the jaw, you know, and so that's
Anthony
what,
Joshua, Jake Paul.
yeah, it's crazy. My hat's off to Jake Paul, man. That takes a lot of courage to get into a ring with a guy like that. But that was the change that we've really tried to make. And our guys really, sell out to it. And, we do our body weights, and, I'm big on that because I think once you hit your body weight coming out of camp, to keep yourself healthy, you got to stay around there, staying
Yep.
hydrated. And our dietitians do a great job of making sure we're hitting those weights.
That's great.
Coach, the Ducks installed as an early and slight favorite. Does that provide anything for you motivationally or on the field, or is there any positives in that for you, or do you not even care?
No, I love it, man. Whenever I talked about how fired up I am with this show, I asked y'all whenever I was on, this summer, I asked Coach and I asked Mark, I said, y'all are on great teams. What's the difference? And I would tell you, Mark said it. He said the locker room has to lead the team, and we have a player-led team. Again, I've been doing this for 31 years. I've never had a team like this that I send out one text to our leaders and it gets fixed.
Yeah.
Like I do not have to deal with anything past. If I say, Coach, I don't want to deal with this, it needs to be fixed, it gets fixed. And then, Coach told me, piss the team off, and we've been playing pissed off. I showed them yesterday, there was an article that came out, and they put 15 anonymous coaches who are the biggest frauds in the playoffs.
No.
And we were the second team. In the first team, I think the only reason they put Ole Miss ahead of us is because Coach Kiffin left, and so I could see where they would say that. And so I showed that to the team yesterday, and so we're still
That's a gift
in the bear like we are. I've got
Yes,
video.
sir.
That's
ready to
officially
go.
pissed off. I'm listening. I'm pissed off. I've seen
Yeah.
you guys play. Wow.
They don't know ball, Coach. Don't worry about
Yeah.
them. Them anonymous coaches, they don't know ball.
Yeah.
Because if you really gonna stand on business, tell us your name.
Yeah, that, and they're either envious of what we've been able to do, or they didn't play us this year. Either way,
I'm gonna be there at the Orange Bowl. I'm gonna be there
we're
at the
still
Orange Bowl, Coach. So
I love it, man.
I'm
We're
gonna be
still
checking y'all
poking
out.
bear.
Y'all, the stadium about 30 minutes south. I'm gonna come check y'all out with my son.
Come on, man.
Yes,
Awesome.
sir. Hey,
How old is he?
Before you go, he's 7. He's 7. So
Can't wait to meet
hopefully in 10 years, what I mean, you're
Yeah.
still doing your thing, and I'm gonna have one ready for you.
Hey, he might have an offer before he leaves the Orange Bowl.
Let's go. First offer. Red Raiders. Let's
Right.
go. No, but hey, tell the people what you told us before we got on and we started recording about our show, man.
Man, I can't thank you guys enough. Number one, I'm a huge fan. I think what you guys do for college football, and bringing this to the forefront, it's such a great stage, and y'all are so knowledgeable. But man, I appreciate you because y'all have done really. I constantly think about that summer conversation, and there has not been a week that we have not talked about that, of being a player-led team, and finding different people saying whatever they said. I mean, our Friday night meetings before the game, my creative team do just a great job of getting the guys ready to go in a highlight film, and it usually has somebody saying something about that so and so is going to beat us, and so we just want people to keep doubting us. Just keep doubting us, and we're just going to keep proving people wrong.
Let's go.
Well, Coach, here's to ripping around Lubbock on January 2nd in your Corvette and taking
Take
three
three
from
on the back.
everybody.
That's
Take
right.
3 from everybody. Joey McGuire, head coach, Texas Tech. Once again, thanks so much for joining us. Happy New Year. Enjoy the Orange Bowl.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you,
Coach.
man. Wreck 'em.
Appreciate y'all.
Welcome back to the Triple Option. Rob, Mark, Urban back here with you. Time now for Crossroads, presented by NHTSA. Whether you get pulled over or get into a crash, drinking and driving will change your whole world. Drive sober or get pulled over, paid for by NHTSA. Well, the Ohio State offensive game plan coach at a bit of a crossroads right now. Offensive coordinator Brian Hartline, congratulations, off to Tampa to be the head coach at USF. Still has this huge playoff game to deal with, and just announced Ryan Day saying, with all the distractions going on out there, he has decided that he will take over the offensive play calling for their Cotton Bowl game against Miami.
Yeah, I can give some intel on that because I actually have to deal with that. In 2 of our 3 national titles, I had coaches that left to be head coaches, and I brought them back, and it was I had to stay on it, because he's officially Brian Hartline's. He's the head coach of USF.
Yeah.
Mark, you know what I mean? I mean that,
Yeah.
and you can say, well, I'm going to discipline my time, but I think Ryan, he's a great play. He obviously was my play caller, excellent at it, and he just had to make a head coach decision, and he did. So I had Dan Mullen was my head coach at Florida, my office coordinator at Florida. Took the Mississippi State job. I brought him back, and he did a great job. We won. Tom Herman left to be the head coach at Houston and brought him back, and we beat Oregon. So I've been through it, but I think Coach Day made the right decision here, and plus he's excellent at that. That's not a skill he's not well versed at.
It's a big news. That's a big change.
But it's the right
Big
decision.
news.
And again, new offensive coordinator, if you will. Chip Kelly was the guy calling the plays last year when they went to the national title. So here they are. Interesting situation and the timing for that one. Other news. This one I don't love. Notre Dame and USC. Such a great tradition. Like, this is why we love college football. The fact that Notre Dame and USC, they have played every year since 1926 except for 4 years. 3 of those years, World War II. 1 of those years, COVID and a pandemic. Well, it was announced today that those 2 programs will not play against each other until at least 2028. Notre Dame scheduling a home and away with BYU in 26 and 27. There's a lot to digest in this one. In the end, Mark, it feels like the timing of this one wasn't where it wanted to be for both programs.
Yeah, because I think USC wanted to play it before the season, before conference play, and Notre Dame wanted to play it middle of the season, and they just couldn't come to terms. They couldn't come to agreement. But at the end of the day, I also think neither one of those teams are too down about not scheduling it, because you get Notre Dame scheduled BYU, but at the end of the day, Notre Dame scheduled Miami and A&M. They lost the first 2 games. They won the rest. They got punished for it. You're going to see most of these teams, they're going to start these home and aways. Like Alabama has a home and away against Ohio State. Like, why would you even do that? You know what I mean? Texas played Ohio State. In week 1, they lost by 7 points. They played them closer than anybody up until the Big Ten championship when they played Indiana. So you're getting punished for these games that you're playing against top 15 opponents. And then people who aren't playing easy booty cheek schedules are going 12-0. They're getting into the playoff. So you're going to see this more and more, where these teams are going to, these home and aways that we love to see early in the season, that are great for fans, that are great for college football. You're going to start seeing these types of games go off the schedule because of the committee not respecting top 15 matchups, top 15 losses when it comes down to the end of the season, and getting in the playoff and getting out the playoff. So sucks to see Notre Dame and USC die down, but they couldn't come to agreement, and you're going to start seeing more of this, unfortunately, I believe.
I coached in that rivalry 6 times, and it actually heartbreaking. I heard this, Brady Quinn said that was going to happen. And just devastated. But like Mark said, get ready. We are headed for the worst non-conference schedules in the history of our sport. And I would put on the to-do list for college football higher-ups, you got to fix this. This is going to be a mess. Remember, the number 1 team in the land, Indiana, played Kennesaw, Old Dominion, and Indiana State. And you're talking about a lot of lost revenue on the table. So that somehow, I still believe the committee's got to go away. It's got to become playing so you don't get penalized, and someone's got to get a hold of the schedule. And the problem is, unless it changes, it's going to be disgusting, the offseason, the non-conference schedules that we're going to see.
Yeah, Alabama, we have a home and away with Ohio State, I think in 27-28, and just little birds.
Why?
They're talking about trying to not do that anymore. Like, I don't know if it's going to get done or if it's not, but it's definitely on the radar to get that off the schedule. You know what I mean? Because what benefit does it do you if you play that game close and they're going to hold it against you when it's time to be voted
particularly
into
if
the
it's
playoff?
late, right?
Yes.
If that's a late game, you're going to get punished rather than earlier
Even early
in the season. Even early, you're going to get some punishment.
A&M lost to 2 teams.
But
2
at
playoff
least
teams.
if it happens early on,
Notre
you
Dame,
have
my
more
fault.
time to build up equity and good credit. Also, we talked about the timing of this one. Again, 1 team's in a conference, 1 team isn't, right? So I understand USC's point of, hey, we can't just drop this in the middle of a gauntlet where maybe there's Oregon and Michigan and Penn State and Ohio State and Washington or whatever. We can't just, oh, by the way, here's a Notre Dame bomb.
Yeah.
Right? That we need to do this before conference play begins. If you're
Notre
Notre
Dame
Dame, you're saying
Notre
if you're
Dame should have
Notre Dame-
accommodated them.
well, yeah, but then Notre Dame is saying, well, hey, man, we've got home field advantage in the late fall and early winter, right? We want you in South Bend. Hey, Southern Cal, you know what we want? Come on down. Come on down in late October, November, when it's chilly and that wind is blowing and the leaves are no longer, beautiful and colorful in Indiana. It's dark and it's nasty and it's great. They want that home field advantage. They don't want to
you're in a dogfight against
sunny
Pitt.
Southern California in August and September now.
You're playing Pitt, though.
That's their point. They want to play those teams where they see them. They're not going to tell you it, but they look at them as wins. And they get those late season wins, so they're not dinged
Man,
by
it
the
sucks,
playoff
man,
committee.
because these are the
It's
games we
awful.
love in college
This
football.
is really
man.
awful. But
Yeah, it sucks because these are the games we love in college
Can you
football.
imagine if Ohio State and Michigan canceled their series? We're out. We're
I
out.
remember Matt
it's too late in
Leinart,
the season.
Brady Quinn,
too much
Bush
damage
Bush.
can't be done. We're not going to do it anymore. What are we
Yeah.
talking about?
that's
It's
all.
it's only downhill from here, though, Stone. I'm going to tell you that.
Listen, the three of us are going to fight it, guys. Knuckle up, man. Knuckle up. We're going to fight this. We're going to keep good games being played in college football throughout. But, boy, it's going to be tough.
hope so.
It's going to be heavy lifting, my friend.
What'd you say,
Kennesaw,
Coach?
Old Dominion,
Kennesaw, Old
State,
Dominion?
and Indiana State are getting a lot of phone calls right now.
They're getting a lot of pay to play, huh, right now, Coach?
Coach. All right. Time for 2-minute drill. It's brought to you by our great partners at FanDuel. Visit FanDuel.com/triple option to download the app and take advantage of a 50% profit boost today. So last week's show, we picked the Alabama-Indiana game and the Miami-Ohio State quarterfinal. Time now for the other two quarters. Mark, we start with you. Number 6, Ole Miss, taking on number 3, Georgia. That one at the Sugar Bowl, proper SEC setting for this one. Again, this is a rematch from a game earlier this year. Bulldogs favored by 7.5, over under 55.5.
I think Pete Golding has done a great job of just kind of weathering the storm that Lane Kiffin left behind, just kind of calming everything down. They came out, they played sharp. Obviously, it was against Tulane, a team who they had beat 45-10 earlier in the season, but they played sharp. Trinidad Chambliss, he looked like he was on point. Kawan Lacey, their running back. We know they could throw the football, but defensively, I saw Tulane being able to move the ball on them a little bit. And I saw that a little concerning, especially when you have Georgia coming to town. Gunnar Stockton, he's playing really efficient, making good decisions. Nate Frazier, the way they run the football. Zachariah Branch, the explosiveness on the outside. And then defensively, they are playing some of the best football in the entire country right now. They're playing tough. They're playing physical. They're getting turnovers. They're being dominant on both sides of the line of scrimmage. I think Georgia right now probably is my favorite to win the national championship, and I feel like they're going to cover this. The line was 7.5. They won 43-35 early in this year. I feel like they're a better football team right now, and we have seen Ole Miss. They played Tulane, but they still have some trouble on the defensive side stopping a run, and that's what Georgia's great at doing, running the football. So I see this being, you said it's 7.5. I like them to cover that number in this matchup, and I think Georgia is poised to continue to make a run for the national title this year.
That regular season game mid-October in Athens, Mark, defense was optional for a majority of that game.
Yeah.
The teams combined to score on their first 11 possessions.
Defense was optional.
First
I think that
11
they've turned the page since then. Georgia has at least.
I think so. Remember, Ole Miss was up 9 in the fourth quarter in that
Yeah.
one. Georgia scored the final 17 to get that win. Pete Golding, I love what he's done. By the way, undefeated Pete Golding. 1-0 as a head coach, right? And you're right. He said, let's just stay the course, right? Like there's no need to change the culture right now, right? We'll do that in the offseason. What you've done so far to get us here is good enough. But I found this interesting, Coach. One of the things that Pete Golding did when he took over for Lane Kiffin, he had every player come in for a personal meeting, and he asked them, give me one thing you like what we're doing and one thing you might want to change. right? That's kind of all the input he wanted right now.
He said every player?
Every player came
See,
in.
every
That's
player,
awesome.
in my mind, hasn't earned that right. I think your dudes. There's some players, honestly.
Your leadership committee or whatever. Again, this is what I read.
Okay.
This is what I read. Every player came in. One
Interesting.
thing
I
you
respect
liked,
it, though.
One thing you changed.
Sure.
And one of the things they changed, Lane had this like basketball hoop that was set up on the sideline, and they had it in one of their meeting rooms. Some of the guys thought that was hokey. It was out. Some of the guys didn't like that they all had to wear the same cleats. And he said, you know what? You guys have your individual flavors and your taste. You guys can wear the cleats you want. So, Mark, you know that. Look good.
All the same cleats is not it, bro. That's not it.
So we're talking about cleats and basketball hoops.
Hey, whatever
whatever
works for that culture, man.
Wow.
Hey, listen, Coach. I respect it as a coach. You're taking over a new program. At least get a temperature for your team.
Yeah.
And
stick your tongue out and slide it underneath. Let's see what's going on.
As a player, Coach, it
Cleats
at least shows even it shows you care about how we feel. Maybe
it's the little things.
How would I be in that meeting? Tell me about the basketball.
You'd be like, "Let go. Let go." No, but it's like this. It's like I say like this. At least you make me feel like you care. It's like when you're in the airport and your flight is delayed and they don't tell you nothing. They just keep delaying the flight. Or, they come on, they're like, "We are sorry for the inconvenience. We appreciate your service. Here's some water and some Biscoff cookies." You don't give a damn about at least make me think you care, Coach.
Are you a Biscoff cookie guy?
I do like the Biscoff cookies.
I do too. I didn't know they existed until I started flying a lot. I don't know why they are just in the airline industry.
Cookie sponsor for
Biscoff
Triple
cookies.
Option.
Oh man, I do mow those suckers down when they roll into me. All right, Coach, your turn. Oregon,
Coach just staring outside here, listening to the shit I'm talking about, man.
I'm just trying to get over the basketball
court, cookies,
and cleats.
All right, let's bring you back, Coach. Coach, hug it out. Here we go. Group hug. Let's bring Coach back, Coach. Mark. Bring it in, Coach. Here we go. Number 4, Texas Tech. Number 5, Oregon at the Orange Bowl. Man, I am so looking forward to this one. We talked to Joey McGuire. Remember, Oregon, a slight favorite, 1.5 points they're favored by. Coach, the over-under, 52.5.
As many bad games as they were the original playoff games, these are phenomenal games. I went back and love Texas Tech. We saw them up close and personal, and I made the comment many, many times, that's an SEC-looking team. But I went back and looked at their schedule. They played Utah and they played BYU twice. Other than that, they had better cats, and really they had better players than those two teams. So this will be the first time that the Texas Tech
got what you got.
They got what you got, and maybe some more. And it's on the road, so this is wake up time. Say hello, not wake up time, but this is come to Jesus time for that locker room at Texas Tech. I think it's going to be a phenomenal. I think it's going to be a walk-off game. Remember, Oregon struggled just a little bit, Oregon. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they gave up 34 to James Madison,
gave up 34
particularly
to
that
James
second
Madison,
half. Yeah,
but
and Coach
that was
lit
kind
into
of out
him
of
too.
hand.
Coach lit into him about that. That was perfect for Dan Lanning, right? A comfortable win, but James Madison gave him enough firepower to keep those boys sharp and
I just
think
this is going to be an old school war, Mark. This is going to be. I can't wait to watch this one. This is.
I'm going.
I love these head coaches. I love the players. I love the demeanor. I love the way they play the game. I just think I'm going to take Oregon with a walk off right at the end.
Think about what Oregon has done the last 2 years,
I
right?
I might change. I'm going to be watching more film over the next week, but I don't know, Mark, you're a big Red Raider guy, so
I'm not going to lie, Coach.
This is going to be
I think they might win
man.
this one.
Who?
I think they might win.
Texas Tech?
I think Tech might win.
Oh, yeah.
I think Tech might win. But this is the problem. They have to slow down the running backs. They have 4 of them. They have 3 of them. You can't stop the run. You don't have a chance. And that's my opinion on this game.
And if those wideouts are healthy, those wideouts are healthy for Oregon. Watch out.
DeCarrion Moore. No, he played, didn't he?
As long as they're healthy, right? Like, because they've been banged up coming in.
Oregon's coordinators have taken jobs, too. Keep that in mind. You got one the head coach at Cal and one the head coach at Kentucky.
1 foot in, 1 foot out.
Yeah. Well,
keep that in
Ohio
mind.
State's dealing with that with Heartline.
I've dealt with it. Mark, it's real.
1 foot in, 1 foot out. That's trouble. Ain't
Oh,
no
we get to
feet
see some
in and
leg
out
on the
Texas
show.
Tech.
Look at that, a late holiday gift, a little Mark Ingram leg on the show. Love that.
I did
Oregon.
some legs today, so I had to show y'all that quad. You feel me?
How about the last 2 years for the Ducks? 25-2. 25-2. Two
They
college
landing.
football playoff appearances. Remember, they were the number 1 seed last year. Lost in the quarters to the defending champs, Ohio
don't know,
State.
Coach.
Greatest
I
season
might
in
be-
Texas. Greatest season in Texas Tech history.
Hey, Coach
Undisputed.
McGuire,
They've never finished in the top 10.
Coach McGuire offered the third already. I'm Red Raider through and through now.
Oh, maybe he'll throw in a Corvette with that deal as well, huh?
Ooh,
Fire
with
up
that take 3 on the
Take
back.
3.
And
Take
he's
3.
marking him the third. I call him 3, so take 3.
Hey, next fall, road trip, Lubbock. We're jumping in this Corvette. We're cruising around Lubbock. Done and done. Make sure to follow, subscribe, rate us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. You can find us on social media at 3X Option Show. Thanks, as always, to our wonderful sponsors. How good have they been to us? Wendy's, we love you. FanDuel, ditto. NHTSA, thank you for all your support. Happy New Year, and enjoy the college football quarterfinals.
Let's go.